Miami. Nope.
All right, thank you very much, Lee Savage. We do have a very, very serious problem here at the Teton Dam. The whole north side of the downstream face is caving in. Look, there goes the whole side. There goes the whole complete side of the north edge of the Teton Dam. And the water in monumental, holy, great. What can I say? People downstream better get out. People downstream better get out.
Ever since I can remember, we knew it was being built, and it was quite a sight. My step-grandfather, his name is Bud. We went up there one time. It was getting close to its completion, and he just shook his head and he said, "This is never going to stand. This is going to break." Putting that dirt up against the rock would create a real difficulty for it to stay in place, and that's exactly what the problem ended up being.
On the Teton Dam, I was a general excavation foreman. The Teton Dam came up. There's, as you know, there's always a lot of opposition shutting off a free-flowing river, and they did that all in one phase. They just went from start to finish. From previous winters, they thought it would take 3 years to fill that dam, and it filled in one. A lot of people don't know this, but from Memorial Day to the second week of June is high water time up here. That's when the evenings warm up, and when the evenings stay warm and the days are warm, that's when you get the high snowfall. Nobody predicted that amount of water that fast. We weren't prepared for it.
I do remember the night before the flood, I was talking to my foreman at the sawmill. I worked at the sawmill in Rexburg. And Glenn and I were talking about it, and he said, yeah, it's supposed to be filled up the next day and come over the spillway or something, and I didn't even think about it, you know. I just still went fishing that next day.
That morning about 10 o'clock, they called me and said, the dam's leaking. I hurried out there, and I drove around the corner there and looked at the face of that dam, and there was a gush of water coming out over against the right embankment. I said to myself, geez, we'll never get this stopped. So I drove out on the dam in a pickup, and so they were backing up, gathering the riprap and pushing into a huge whirlpool. I mean, that whirlpool, like pulling a plug in a tub. That's what it looked like. Only it's about 30, 40 feet around, about 20, 25 feet deep. And so I backed up, and as I started to cross, I felt it settle, that caved in front of me.
This is KRXK. We do have an emergency. Everyone below the Teton Dam on the north and south fork of the Teton River, evacuate your homes immediately. Just go.
Me and David were fishing, and the water rose, and we're standing chest high in water, and I see a wall of water coming. Turned to David, and I just said, we got to jump in and swim downriver. And then the wave it hit me, and then it went past me. I did see him once going downriver, but he was dead when I seen him. I couldn't get to him. It's weird. I wasn't scared. I knew I was gonna die. I figured I was fighting like heck, but I didn't figure there'd be any way I can get out of it. I went down the river probably 3 or 4 miles before I even got hurt. I was hanging on the logs, and all of a sudden they just got really tight, and I heard everything break in my chest. After I got hurt, then I got pinned to this tree. I passed out for a few hours, and then I woke up conscious, and I couldn't see nothing then. I just started hollering, and luckily I was close to the road there at Teton, and somebody heard me.
There was one fellow over there, and he was hollering for help. Found he had a collapsed lung, and a big wave had put him up in that tree, and you can see it's about 10 feet up there. There's another fellow that was with him that's gone. I think they said his name was Benson. But this fellow's folks used to live in this area, and I don't think they live here now, but his name is Darrell Griggs.
Lucky young man. He has a collapsed lung. Now they're going to try to get him across this floodwater to where they get him over here on this side to safety.
The first thing I can remember was this police officer on a motorcycle drove right up on our lawn and said, you guys got to go, and you got to go quick. I do remember several houses catching on fire, and I had no idea that fire and water could go together like that. I remember going down to the edge where the water was, and my cousin, who was much older in high school, jumped in a canoe, and I guess there was a lady that was stuck in a home, and they went and got her. And I really remember the anarchy and the chaos. just like, it was like a war zone, literally. I remember the military coming in, and so they blocked everything off, and they were there with their machine guns. And when I saw them, I went and asked my mom, why is the military here? Well, sometimes people take advantage of the situations. I think about that situation and the chaos. I always felt safe, and I don't know why. But I think I just knew that there were people, adults around me, that were taking this situation very, very seriously, but very calmly.
I felt a lot of empathy. I felt sorrowful for everybody involved in that, downstream of that dam. I'd go through there and see the destruction and the erosion and fences and the buildings and the livestock. That part was sad. Not kind of heart-rending to see. Just glad it's over.
Do you ever regret going on that fishing trip?
I do. Yeah. Just because David wouldn't have got hurt, and I wish he would have made it. So.
When you think you're going to die, you don't think about what car you're driving or how much money you have. You think about your family. And I wonder what my wife and kids going to do without me. So I don't go back there too much. I haven't been there for 20 years, and I haven't missed it. I don't want to go back there. I've seen all I want to see. It brings up more memories I don't need to remember. I'm getting too old to fool with that kind of stuff.
If you're going to have a flood in a community, Rexburg's probably a good place to do it. There's probably some purpose in it, from above. I don't know exactly what that is, but I think we're a better community because it happened. And I would never want that to happen. I'd never want that to happen again, but I'd say after having gone through it, Rexburg's a better place.